protection of free speech in Canada has been eroding for a long time now, under various guises: hate speech, discrimination, misgendering, whatever it may be. And my original thought was to make the case that that this is a minority of people who support these controls. Unfortunately, when I dug into it, I realized that it's a plurality, that a majority of Canadians do favor these restrictions, which is highly problematic or concerning, and this is backed by good data from Vanderbilt University and the Canadian Constitution Foundation. So why is this so problematic? These are having ramifications, that a comedian has been severely fined for making a joke that violated someone's right to dignity. There is now, if you use a gender pronoun against someone's wishes, that is illegal in Ontario. And not only are these things illegal, and this problem goes beyond just government or laws. There is a vehement or just very aggressive group of censorship-minded people who want to silence those who say things that the censors do not like. And that means that they are deplatforming them. They're basically removing them from social media platforms or video platforms, communications platforms. They're also blocking their pathways to crowdfunding or donations. This is stifling free speech in Canada in a severe way and undermining liberal democracy, the competitiveness of ideas, accountability for government, many problems. And so the question then is, what do people who believe in free speech, what can we do about it? We may be a minority, but we're not a small minority. There are sufficient numbers of people to push back. And so in the article, I made the case that there are things that can be done. First, we need to be clear. Free speech is for everybody, regardless of your political persuasion, your whatever you want to call yourself. Free speech is for you. It is not exclusive to any one group. And unfortunately, it seems like the people who are being silenced the most are the ones who then care about free speech. But of course, these things, with ebbs and flows of time, the censorship goes on different groups, so we should all value it. It's a neutral principle. Second, we should exercise our free speech and not be afraid. The fact is that if people speak openly, clearly, forthrightly, there's basically no way to silence people. It's beyond the power of the state to silence people in this era. Also, we should utilize the technology at our disposal. Yes, centralized communications, media platforms are censoring people right now, and in politically biased ways, unfortunately. What we can do is use alternative platforms such as Vote, VOAT, Gab, that's GAB, these alternative platforms that explicitly protect free speech. Also, we can look to use alternative donations platforms, and maybe as cryptocurrencies grow in strength, we can utilize them too. Finally, if necessary, we can use the courts, and the Canadian Constitution Foundation and the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms both have shown that you can win. The law does favour free speech, at least in the Charter. Further, I do believe, and I want people to be optimistic. The positive message here is that this is a noble cause that can be won. That if we take action, speak openly, promote free speech, not only will we win in that we can speak openly, we will demonstrate it as a positive virtue that is necessary for Canada and for liberal democracy.